Well, today is July 1st, an important day because today I'm supposed to pay my parking lady for the truck parking, and also this crane guy who gave me a different small spot. No, but I'm joking. No payments are being made today because it's Canada Day. It's same as an Independence Day in US in 3 days. And I'm recording this with a GoPro 8 using the grip I received, the telescopic grip I received in the bonus pack. And I tried to use this camera on a head mount when I was driving my car, and if you saw that video, it was a total and complete fiasco. The camera could not handle the difference in brightness inside the car and outside. But then I checked it later at my hotel, and it was changing the ISO perfectly between the room when I pointed downwards at the floor, and then I pointed it to the outside, and I could see the screen in the back, like nothing was overexposed. So anyway, I gotta fix that. And so what I found is that I can add exposure compensation, and also I can limit the ISO, because the maximum ISO is like 1500, and you can limit that, and then the camera will not be able to switch to such high ISO, you know, and white out the oh, check this out. It's like a parking here, and we're only 2 minutes from my hotel. And I try to search online for any events. Like normally on this day, a lot of things are happening, you know, people are outside, you know, all restaurants are full, patios are full. But this week is the first week in Ontario when restaurants opened partially, and I've been to one today and it was only patio. You cannot sit inside, so they have like 5 tables outside, all spaced you know, 6 feet away, and so basically it's dead. No parades, you know, no concerts, nothing. And half of the restaurants are still closed. And so I grabbed my Canon and this new shiny GoPro, and we're just walking towards the Riverside Park. It's to my left over there. I just followed this road past this gas station, and finally the heat subsided. It's about 7 o'clock now. It was super hot during the day, so I had to wear this tank top t-shirt, and hopefully I'll see something in the park, you know. I can, maybe there's something is going on there, I don't know, but I'm bringing my camera just in case, see if I can take any pictures or something, right? You never know. It is a big holiday, it's supposed to be. Now we are crossing the street. And the guy in the red car is looking at me like I'm a CIA spy, recording some top secret briefing for President Trump that we all know he never reads unless that briefing has a video. No, but that's funny, you know. He's not my president, I don't care, right? But I just watched a report online where the guy who used to work for FBI, he says he was sharing his experiences doing briefs for Trump, and he says it's widely known in the intelligence community that if you want the press to pay attention to that particular piece of information, you have to bring a video. If it's just a story on paper, it's not gonna get too much attention. The guy said they all know this, that you must bring some pictures or a video. So to me that's funny. All right, check this out. We got something going on here. Silver Bullet. What is that? Oh, it's like a restaurant on the open air. Wow, you see? Open 11 to 8, Thursday to Sunday. So these guys prepare food and then you can sit in your car and eat. But I gotta shut it down because of the music. I cannot have that music in my video. This is this little river, so the park is over there on the other side. And it's a very shallow river, but it doesn't look too bad. Let's go see if anything is happening in the park. And this is the entrance to the park. Oh, I see lots of people actually. Riverside Park. Some free parking over here, and then you go inside. There's water on the right. Yeah, it's beautiful over here. Yeah, I took a shot from over there. I didn't even realize until I took the camera to my eye that that building creates a very nice reflection in the water. So yeah, and this park, one thing this park has a lot of is geese, and they seem cute, but also they create a lot of mess. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful when you walk on the grass. So yeah, we do have some people here, but normally if this was like regular, this was a regular Canada Day, you would have crowds over here. Crowds. Now we're gonna make, now it's time for some public announcement. This is for all people that like feeding geese. You see, if you feed them, they will not leave this area, okay? Which is not good, because then you have that mess on the grass year round. So I remember actually I came here once with a couple of friends, and they have some picnic tables further down, You can cook some food, you know. It's pretty good. And it's open to everybody. Free park. Well, I found an empty bench near the water. And there's a bunch of geese over there. And I saw two photographers, probably husband and wife, with very big lenses. And the strap on the camera said Nikon. And I used to do this myself, right, like wildlife, but there's no wildlife here. And I wanted to say something funny about them, you know, shooting geese. And then I see that actually they're not taking pictures of the boring geese, but there's a creature over there, like there's in the middle. There's a heron, but it's turned its back towards this side of the river. And those birds, I know from experience, I used to shoot a lot of them, and they only look interesting when they're flying. You know, if they're flying, they have these huge wings. And a couple of times I captured them when they were fighting. Like there's a place there, there's another lake where you see much more of them in the morning. Like usually here, this is the first time I see a heron over here, and it's just one bird. Interesting. But imagine, like, right, still we have herons, we have geese, and we have all these residential buildings, you know. So it's right in the middle of this town, so which is pretty cool, pretty big park. So how is the GoPro working? I did not check the rear screen. I have no idea. Is it again doing that thing with the overexposing or not? And the sun is behind me, which is not a good thing. I'm not sure how far I want to walk. Some guys are playing what is that? They like that in India and England, you know, that type of sport with like big bats, kind of like baseball, except when they throw the ball, they don't throw it straight at the catcher, but they bounce it off the ground, and then it goes to the catcher. You know, catcher in the eye. It's very, so on this side it's pretty dirty, very shallow, and that heron is still there. Huh. I find that I'm not taking too many pictures because there's not that much that you can take pictures of, but there's another paved little trail right next to the water. And I see a couple with a small kid are sitting there on the bench, and they're holding a Canada flag, which is fitting because after all this is a Canada Day. I watched a video yesterday. A guy was doing a street photography with 150 to 600 millimeter Sigma. And as a matter of fact, I had that lens when I was doing wildlife, but it was not very sharp. Maybe because I was using a crop sensor camera, but this guy's using the same Canon EOS R. I love this camera. Light, very powerful, excellent sensor. And he's normally doing like landscapes, and some guy in England, I think, he's doing landscapes and wildlife, and he decided, hey, why don't I just try to be unobtrusive and take candid shots of people from far away. And I'm thinking about that because now I'm walking past all this activity. You know, I don't want to just come over with my new shiny 35mm lens and put it into people's faces, right? But then on the other hand, they say that when you take pictures like that, usually the creepiness factor is proportionate to the length of the lens. So people will consider you a creep. You might call cops if they see that you have that monster lens. Whereas something like this, you know, or better yet, people are using real tiny mirrorless or crop sensor cameras, and nobody pays attention to those. Wow. Let's see if I can take any pictures at all. Any alligators in here? No, wait, this is not Florida, so I think we are safe here. Well, this is neat. Check this out. I found a little wooden bridge over here. And the water opens up here quite a bit. I see a bunch of geese in the water. I'm thinking, what would happen if this was really like Florida and we had alligators? I'm not so sure that those geese would be just milling around like that. Alligators would be happy. Yeah, what do you call this sport? I forgot what it's called. But this is, see, the guy throws the ball, boom, bounces off the ground, and then they kick it out in the field. So pretty much similar to baseball. Yeah, not that much to see. Like I said, normally on Canada Day this would be packed, but I did see a bunch of people in that two restaurants I passed there, right not too far from my hotel. Music, alcohol flowing, steak, ribs. Well, there's getting more and more mosquitoes, but I decided to stop at this fountain, or what used to be a fountain. And the exit from the park is right there. Yeah, but it's nice, very quiet, and well, actually not exactly quiet, but in other parts of the park, I mean. And feels like the air is pretty fresh, you know, because it's a small town. There's not that much traffic, So time now is 8:17 p.m. So yeah, let's get back to the hotel and finish this blockbuster. So consider this as the continuation of the test, okay? Because the first test was not successful. So again, this is GoPro 8. This is only the second time I'm using it, but it should work this time because I'm not inside a car, right? That's a detailed shot for you. And there's more parking over there. Yeah, one good thing about this park is that there's lots of parking everywhere. You can park here, you can park further down. Let's see, they have some kind of a statue in here. Let's see what it is. Some kind of a monument. Mourn for the dead, fight for the living. Erected by the Canadian Auto Workers Local 1986 on April 28th, 1995, in recognition of all the men and women who have been killed or disabled by injury or disease in the workplace. Okay, moving on. So here you can walk, you can bike, you can roller skate. The only thing you cannot do in this park is swim, because the waters, that little streak is pretty shallow, and but I do see lots of fishermen, and I saw some movement in the water. I assume it was fish. And so this concludes our little tour of the Riverside Park. Hold on, we need to read this. City of Cambridge, circa 1921, heritage landmark. The Riverside Park entrance gates and walls were originally designed in November 1919 by J. Patterson in association with the local architect J.H. Mickler as an elegant memorial to the local men who had died during World War I. The gates and walls were redesigned by Mr. Patterson and Mr. Mickler on a more modest scale early in 1921 and were erected later that year. Wow, so this thing is 100 years old. Of course, it's been refurbished and repaired, but still. And this looks like these that stone fence looks like part of this, because it looks very old. Wow, a little bit of history right in my neighborhood park. And that's the building that I took a picture of. There was a very good reflection in the water, but I don't know, maybe I took like 3 shots in this park, but what do you do? I was watching another video by a street photographer, and he said his goal is to get 12 great photographs in 1 year. 12. So he was saying that if he can get 1 decent picture a month, he's happy. And that made me stop and think, and like, wait a second, so then I don't have to be discouraged if I go out and I start shooting and I don't have any pictures on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then we still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But basically for me, just to conclude this, now, you know, with this camera, and I want to buy a different lens, maybe like a bigger lens. Maybe I'll try that street photography with a 1000mm lens, you never know. But for me, besides trucks, like you see on the other side, right, I'm interested in so automotive photography, landscape photography, street photography, and architecture photography. It used to be wildlife, but you know, you gotta travel to shoot wildlife, because over here all I saw were herons. I saw one eagle, and that's it. So you know, how many herons can you photograph, right? So yeah, to be a wildlife photographer, you have to travel. And speaking of travel, I like how this track curves towards that building. So this is gonna be our last shot of the day. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.